Hi everyone, lovely to have you online and also the guests here in the studio. So we are today in the Amsterdam Museum at the Shakespeare Club, and the theme is Take Care. So we will speak about bicultural LGBTQI plus community, and we will give you some advice, and we have an amazing group of panel members. Unfortunately, two are a bit later, so we are sitting here already with two amazing souls. So I want to introduce myself before I forget that. So I'm your host today, Isha Dusain, social worker and director of Stichting Prisma Groep. And Stichting Prisma Groep is a foundation, so an organization for bicultural LGBTQI+. So we empower our communities, and we also do social work. And we have every 3 weeks a meeting in Amsterdam, and also every 3 weeks a meeting in Utrecht. So I think we are one of the biggest organizations for bicultural LGBTQI+. So it's lovely work. It's our passion that we do. And I think all of you at home and also here in the studio will see it, that these are amazing souls. So let's go to the amazing souls. Yes, let me start with Andrea. Andrea and me also go way back. I was thinking maybe I'm also sitting here a bit because of her, actually, because we started to work in our organization like 10 years ago. So, yes, let's go to you, Andrea. Can you introduce yourself? Yes, tell us a bit about your personal life and also about your profession.
Yes, now welcome. It's great for being here. My name is Andrea, as Ishet said. I'm here in the position of trainer and coach. That's actually for about 10 years. I work as an independent trainer and coach, life coach, tribal coach. I will explain a little bit more what I'm doing later. And I know Ishet from, I was working about 20 years ago already, or 15, I don't know, for Schoren, and we had the Safe Harbor. I had the project Safe Harbor with Ishet together, and it makes me really happy for being here. Happy to be here, because what is important to me also in my life is ook, like, I work for many years already for the queer community, but I'm also as trainer in non-binary communication, and in my workshop I will tell there a little bit more.
Thank you, Andrea,
yes,
for introducing yourself. The same questions to Glenn. Yeah, what can I say about Glenn? And Glenn also does so many things for the community. So yes, let's go to you, Glenn.
Thank you, Ishet. And Andrea, nice to sit here together with you. I want to connect to your words about the souls, because I woke up this morning and I felt this feeling of happiness, and I didn't know why, but now I know, because I know I will connect today again with people in bodies that look different, but I know we will connect with the souls, because it's only the outer part, or the way we express ourselves in terms of being gay, being lesbian, queer nowadays, or bisexual, or transgender, or non-binary. You know, these are all those different ways in which our souls express themselves. But one of the things is that we want our souls to connect. And so by saying this, I feel this happiness that I know now why I was so happy when you started with those words. Because we are all interconnected. And one of the things that are happening is that people are trying to divide us just because the way we are in this life, in this body, and the way our inner world is telling us what we want to put in this world. So for me, this moment is like a little bit shivering, because I know also children will listen. And I hope that when you're listening, that you know that people might say that you're different, but you are not. You are this beautiful soul that came into this world to do your thing. So my introduction is that I'm a soul coming into this life, and one of the ways I projected myself is as a psychiatrist. And that's the way I've doing a lot in my life. But one of the things I realized is that whenever I talk to people, it's trying to get into their inner world and to see if we can free ourselves. As free as we were before we came here, as free as we will be when we go back. Let's try that freedom in this life, because gaining that, learning to get free, I think that's one of the most beautiful things there are. So that's a kind of introduction. Okay, Ishet?
That's an amazing introduction. Thank you, and thanks a lot, Glenn. So we have Ashley arriving. Take a seat, my dear.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi.
So thanks, Andrea and Glenn, for the introduction. Ashley, you can also introduce yourself here. So can you tell us a bit about yourself and about your passion work?
So hi. Yeah, late to the party. I'm Ashley Dior. I am a project leader for Prisma Groep Amsterdam. I'm also a social worker that deals sort of, not specifically, but I've been doing it for quite a number of years, psychosocial counseling. It's sort of my passion. My work is my passion, so I don't work. I tell people I don't work. Ished works. I do passion. So yeah, that's it.
Also, thanks, Ashley, for introducing yourself. Yes, also, of course, Ashley is an amazing soul. And I think it's a passion for all of us, so that's why it's always amazing to do this kind of things, because it's just not work for us. It's what we do from our deepest inside, like Ashley says it sometimes. So after speaking with our clients, sometimes we are exhausted because we do this from a really deep place, and also sometimes not a lot of other persons are helping our communities. So I think we also feel that obligation, or what is it? What do we feel? Let's start with Glenn and go back. Yes.
Obligation. I don't feel it as an obligation. I think it's, as you said, something coming from the inside. And there is one thing that's very important, and that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I don't want other people to talk about us. We have to tell our own stories.
Yes.
And we have to get the stories out of our people, because in this thing we call the development of our being, we see that there are a lot of standards. And the standards are saying us that we are not good. And then the whole time we are being suppressed. And I don't really think that people who don't really understand us, that they can really help us. Even for me, it's sometimes difficult, because let's say I was born in this body, and of course I was searching for my identity. And I've learned that identity was one thing. And I had to learn that identity is something you relate to. You relate to parts of yourself. And you relate to your gender, you relate to your sexuality, you relate to your skin color. And growing up, I thought it had to be one thing. But when you start really understanding, when you start meeting people, we know that's not the identity. Nowadays we talk about intersectionality, and it's a very important thing. We have to understand what it's all about. So with growing up, you have this inner world in which I was thinking a lot. And what do? I express my inner world. And if I would be a painter, I would do the same. If I would be a architect, I would do the same. But my talent was to be somebody who is interrelational. That's my talent. So what can I do to express my inner world, in the different persons, the different identities I have? So I think it's being. For me, it's being. Just to be and to show and to interact and to grow.
Yes. And what is it for you, Andrea?
For sure, not obligation. While I'm sitting here and listening to you all, it happens a little bit the same what Glenn said. I become positive excited. My heart starts beating a bit faster, not because of the tension of this dream life, but because I feel there is no reduction. I feel space. We already talked about soul. That soul means for me we connect. I never met Ashley before, but I feel very much. For me, it's
at home.
Yeah, family. Yeah. It feels familiar, and I think this is one of the reasons. It's for me. It's the fire, the passion, the inner fire, the inner passion. Also, to see the world, to see my inner world in the outer world, because in the outer world I haven't seen me for many years. I had to create that world.
Yes.
Lovely words. Let's go to Ashley. Yes.
For me, it means very similar. I think I just what I can do is pretty much add to what you all are saying. Coming from the Caribbean, I'm originally from the Caribbean. I was born in Trinidad, grew up there. Coming from that space where there was no spaces, there was no language to describe who I was. And there was no spaces there was nothing like the LGBTQ, nothing in my time growing up. So there was a hint of gay. We heard it occasionally on probably the television or a radio program, which was more prevalent then or prominent then. But people didn't really know how to deal or identify with that. And me being so different, me being born in this binary system that says I was male because I was born with a penis, because that said that, and I knew that that was not who I was. It was super difficult, and I had to learn from a young age how to navigate a system that didn't have a space for me. And I understood the pressure of society saying to someone, indirectly even, you don't belong. Something is wrong with you.
Yes.
They didn't have to tell me directly. No one had ever said to me that I was wrong in those years growing up. Because I was also one of the privileged ones. I had straight hair and lighter skin in the Caribbean that made me white privilege. So people didn't necessarily have to be mean to me to make me feel inadequate or not fitting. I knew that, I was different, and so I think it was born out of that, and the understanding, the stress, the pressure, the need for me to find something to make me worthy, find something to make me valuable. I felt totally devalued and not human, and actually before I was 13 I had attempted suicide 3 times, and it wasn't because I hated me, it was because I was afraid of what I would become. I was thought that people like myself would be the end of we would bring about the end of the world. We would bring destruction, devastation, antichrist kind of destruction. So as a child growing up in that background, I felt enormous pressure that I knew that at this time now that I was good, but as I got older, probably I've become this demon that would destroy the world. So I felt the need, in order to protect the people that I love, to end my life before I get to the point where I'm evil now and I don't want to die. You know, so it's just so crazy. But having this understanding of the normatives and the value system that we've all been taught, how dangerous it is for children, how dehumanizing, and how much it breaks the spirit of people, the pressure, how it destroys us. I felt that I needed to try to create spaces and try to help to build capacity for people. That was me at one point in time. Now that I have grown older, now that I understand life a lot differently, and again, as Glenn and both of you rightfully said, this is not our identity. Trans is not my identity. I'm complex and beautiful and so many things that I feel belittled to be just considered a transgender woman. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. Because for me, my transness, and everybody transness is different, I guess. They understand it differently. But me, I am a complexity of male and female and God and everything. I am a God. I tell people this all the time. I am a God. I was born more than a man and more than a woman. Why would I want to bring myself into the binary system? No, I'm not going to do that. So I wanted to make that, I wanted to bring this across to make people understand. See yourself. Don't believe what people call you. Don't believe what people tell you. You define who you are. Don't let other people write your narratives. We all brought up in the systems that told us who we are, who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be. And in essence, what it does is diminish us. It makes us less than we are. And this is not LGBT specific, this is people specific, totally. So that is the reason that I do what I do, because I have these experiences that I want people to also experience. The good experiences that I have, the experience of understanding myself and feeling empowered, and not feeling that anyone has the ability to disempower me. I absolutely don't feel that another human being has the ability to disempower me, because I see me. And I want people to see themselves, see who they are, accept who they are. And that's why I do this, that's why I do what I do. So yeah.
Thank you, Ashley. Yes. Yes, now we will also speak about the Corona times and how we handled it as persons, and also, yeah, how we did it in our work. So let's start with Glenn. How was it for you, the Corona time?
You're starting again with me. Yes. Okay. Is it because I'm the eldest?
I don't see that here. Yes.
It's probably
okay, the
you're
Corona
youngest.
time. Sorry, I didn't.
No, actually, it's interesting to say. Also, when Ashley was speaking about being trans, and then I was thinking, oh yes, she is, and I'm also, because we are sitting here, and it felt like also when you said I'm the oldest, I was like, oh yes, you are, but I forgot that kind of thing. So that is the funny thing when you are in your community. you forget all that kind of things. It looks like it doesn't matter anymore.
You know, it doesn't
On the
matter.
soul level.
It doesn't matter, but my age is now one of the
Yeah.
parts in which I can be discriminated.
But it's also one of the beautiful parts of who you are.
We know being trans is also beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, but we know that the way the way we put things together, getting old means now you can do this, now you can do that, now you're not invited, now you're not somebody to be loved by somebody else because I'm getting old. So that's also one part of me could be discriminating, but then it comes to how am I going to deal with it. So Corona time was also one of how am I going to deal with this situation. In short, I've been through COVID-19 and I had these beautiful doctors who helped me through it. So after 2 months I said, oh, I'm back. And so that's a very important part. And the anxiety that I had, I'm past that. And I'm looking at the world at this moment, looking at how are we dealing with this together. But let's go back, not to the world of how the world is dealing with it. Let's talk about how I think that queer people, that people like us, how they should deal or can deal with this. Because one of the important parts is, as I said before, when we're sitting here, we can talk about us, but we also have to talk about the people that are coming behind us. So it means that if we're talking about, let's say, our few people who were made to fled here, vluchtelingen, the fugitives, we know in what kind of situations they are. But we'll come to that. I also want to talk about the kids who are at home, who suddenly in this lockdown were, imprisoned. Because if you have a family that understands you, that's no problem. But sitting there in which you feel, I'm not the name you're calling me, and the whole time you're in that situation, yes, that the people around you don't really see your soul, don't really understand you. They only want you to be the project of their minds. So for me, thinking about it, I thought about those kids who are coming here being gay, trans, or whatever. So how would they deal in families or in situations where they could not be themselves? So I was very happy, for instance, that the Prisma Group started the online talks. I was very happy with that. And I hope you will prolong that. Because nowadays we can come together again. But it's also important to make these programs for the kids to tune in. Because if we have a lockdown again, then they know that they can go to those places where they can, in their cells, be safe and listen and see people who look alike or people who were saying the words actually were just saying. That's very important. And then again, sorry?
A place they can find community.
The place where they can find community and safety.
And safety, yeah.
And I was very happy that you invited me to have these talks with our communities to talk about how do we do this. We are people with our different identities, but one of the parts is also that in this world in which we are denied our sexuality, how could we deal with that? Those were things that were very important. And of course, myself, I thought about that because I don't have a relationship. Yes? And if I had a relationship, I hope that it would be a good relationship, because being locked down with somebody in which you have a lot of tension, that's also very tense. It's also very tense.
Not necessarily the healthiest thing.
Not necessarily.
Especially living in the Netherlands where we're in such small spaces.
In those small spaces. So Corona meant how, because I'm always thinking, how are people going to deal with this? For me, at 65, it was not that bad, because I was in this transitional state of thinking, what am I going to do now? Because I wanted to change my life at 65, a natural age to change. So when the whole world was quiet, for me it was nice. Oh, you're also quiet, and I can think, and I can reflect. But the thing that hurted me most was really what I'm talking about now, about our brothers, sisters, our family, who were sitting, for instance, the people who were in the camps. We talked about it. How can they communicate? What are their possibilities? How are we thinking about how they can relate? Because one of the things that are very important, everything we do, we want to be seen and heard. Who's seeing us? Who's listening to us? Those are important things. So for me, Corona time meant, can I be open enough for myself, also for my patients, that I have this time to see them, to hear them, to create space for them. That was, and I wanted really to stop with my work, but I couldn't. I had to, because that's not an obligation. We need each other now. We need this thing as
It's a
we.
responsibility, but not necessarily an obligation.
Yes,
Yeah.
a responsibility.
Yeah.
I realize that I'm not an I. I realize that we are a we. I realize that my ancestors, all those ancestors before, being queer, being trans, being everything, non-binary, they were all there. And I'm here now. And once I will be an ancestor. But we have to do the job now. So Corona time meant a lot of thinking, and also bring the thinking into doing things and trying to give support to whoever thought they needed it. And then again, I felt sometimes very annoyed. Not annoyed in the sense, not annoyed, what is the word in English? I can't help everybody.
Yeah.
You know, you want to embrace the world, but that's impossible. So that's why we have a community. That's why we have each other to give the support to each other. Creating this, in Dutch we say beschermjas. How do you, protecting
A
cloth.
covering, yeah.
A covering.
A blanket.
A
blanket of
yes,
covering, yeah.
And we all have to create this blanket.
Yes.
Because one of the things we want is to be safe. And one of the things we see that if people think that we're different, they're putting this thing on us for them to be safe. But we need our safety. There's somebody coming in?
Yes. It's our our fourth panel member.
How are you?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mala.
Welcome, Mala. Take a seat. Yes, let's go to Andrea. Then Mala can how do you say it? Acclimatiseren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big challenge and a big learning process for me, the COVID-19. And it had different phases, I saw. At the beginning, it was really shocked and really freezed. And like the outdoor world was so, how you say that, bepalend. You know, we were losing so much. We were losing our autonomy, we were losing our freedom, we were losing we couldn't connect to our friends, we couldn't, the self-beschikking. And I was really shocked at the beginning. And also that is that big, it is worldwide.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh my God, what is going on, and so fast. And then I was looking to it was a mourning process. I connected also to that mourning process of losing actually the life I have set up. And then I made a retreat of it, and I was looking, for me, it was very much a process of consciousness. My consciousness towards myself, my inner world, and the outer world were growing, and also my connection to the earth. Because it was then I became very grateful what happened in the world, because we need a deep change. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, then I had, when I connected to my inner world and to my inner freedom and my inner autonomy, I felt I can give me, and the safety, I'm the one who can give that to me. And actually it was always like that. It's the things who really need it, they happen in our inner world. So that was this consciousness. And then from this safe place, from this inner world, to connect to the outer world and to manifest and to create. And for me, it was very important. I thought, oh my God, we need to be connected, whatever. So I was setting up like an urban sangha where I meet friends from New York, Madrid, Barcelona, Nantes, Berlin, and we meet every Monday, and I guide meditation. That's one of the things, because to support each other, to stay calm and to make decisions who are appropriate and who are fitting for us. And so I made different things. I changed immediately into online trainings and online coaching. So I thought, for me, the key was, let's stay connected, whatever. That's because they may like us to be disconnected. And I thought, okay, for me, the magic is to be connected with ourselves. And I think I realize it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger what is going to happen. And it's that big that the truth I find in myself, in my heart. And then I connect to the world and I take the decisions. And I think there I want to continue and looking how I can support and contribute also to the community. As Glenn said, I was also, so many people are isolated. And I work also with teams from huiselijk geweld, domestic violence. And then I just heard, like, there were people that were like, for months, they haven't seen anybody, and with 3 children, they were just locked in the house and didn't have any information and all these things. So for me, really, the key word is, let's connect. We need to connect, and we need each other. And I'm very, very also grateful to feel that we are here, and we need to reach out. Also, I learned to reach out a little bit more, and also to receive and to give from the heart.
Thank you, Andrea.
So it was a big learning process for me. I'm very grateful for that.
So, Ashley, how was the COVID period for you? What did you do, personal and in your work passion?
Like Andrea said, and Glenn, again, if I be honest, it didn't affect me at all. I didn't do any particular growing. But as I said earlier, and I'm a god, so I was grown already. I realized I had this shit covered. Because when it started, I saw the panic. I saw the Armageddon-like feeling, the end of the world. Yes. I saw it, I felt it. It was so weird, but it didn't affect me. Like, my life didn't change so much, and I'm really good with isolation. I'm really good with self-imposed isolation. I'm super, super social, but because I'm super social, I'm super good at being isolated. I enjoy it. When I'm around people, I'm the life of the party. I'm the entertainment. It takes so much energy. You have no idea how much energy it takes just to be around people. So when I'm alone, I enjoy that time. It's a time for me to breathe. And I like to be silent. I like to observe. And I've been doing that for a number of years. That was all part of my evolving process. A couple of years ago, I was doing HIV testing, and that took so much energy to test and counsel people. That after a day or two, when I had my time off, I needed 2 days. 2 days, zombie days, I call them. I didn't want to shower, didn't brush my teeth, I'm not cooking, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to answer the phone. I just want to be in bed with my laptop, in my pajamas, and watch my series and do that. Or I spend time in my garden, which is my temple. I just spend time in my garden. I just lie there and look at life happening. I look at things, the simple things like the plants growing, the the animals in my garden, you know, it gives me pause to understand life and understand how simple life really is. But our arrogance causes us to make it so difficult and complicated. Life is really simple. We say life is difficult, but it's not. We make life difficult. Our societies make life difficult. Our greed makes life difficult. Our inability to accept simplicity. We need to have things complicated because in itself, it tells us that we're smart and intelligent if it's complicated because we can figure this out. And we overlook simplicity, and simplicity is beauty, it's life. So when this thing started, at first I sat there and I looked at people all panicky and life shame, what am I gonna do? Yes. Oh, I can't see people, I can't touch people, and people were looking at you like you are but coming from the LGBT community and coming from the Caribbean, that look is not very unfamiliar. A lot of us have had that look before. Yeah. So we're actually the ones who are better equipped to handle that sort of, what are you? Be careful, you're probably infectious. We kind of have that experience, you know? Yeah. So for me, it was funny, but as Glenn said, I started to think of how it affected other people. Because for me, I was totally unaffected. I was grateful, like you said, I was grateful for it. Not that it did something for me because I took my time anyway. I took my quiet time anyway. But I was grateful for it because I saw that it gave a space for a lot of people who didn't have that space before to be quiet, to be still. And I realized how difficult it was for a lot of people whose entire existence was based around these rituals. Busy rituals, work, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, good, see how insignificant your life really is. Reflect. It was a wake-up call for a lot of people, I think. It was important. But a lot of people, we live in societies that teaches us to be panicked, to be afraid. Makes us more controllable. If we are afraid, if we are constantly afraid, we're easily controlled. So my point of saying this is that we're trained to be afraid easily. And we are trained to see only the negative things. We are trained to only see negative things. We're not trained to look for positive things. Absolutely nothing exists. Negative never exists without positive. It doesn't matter how dire the situation is. It really doesn't matter how bad the situation appears. There is positivity to be gotten out of that situation. But we are not a people that are taught to look for positivity. We're taught to first give in to that animalistic fear of everything. And that depresses people, it puts people in such a bad place, and it confuses a lot of people. So I realized, okay, so now what do I do? How do I contribute to reaching out to people, to helping people? Especially when a lot of people don't know if reaching out is optional or if somebody reaching out to them, because now people are afraid, so they're defensive, not always receptive to you reaching out, especially if you're not used to reaching out to them. Like, why are you reaching out to me now? What do you want? Do you think I'm being rude? But so in my personal life, it was fine. It was not a challenge at all. I accepted it. I enjoyed the bit of time alone. I enjoyed driving when there was no one on the roads, there was no traffic. You can go out and it was kind of peaceful. Now it's all crazy again. But when we started, we started to think of what do we do for a community, because we can't now reach out, we can't do Prisma Group. How do we do this? It's not very easy to do what we do online. Oh my God, and I'm also a little bit old, so just a little bit. So I am not like, I don't care for the whole online thing. I remember my first live, I sat there thinking, this is so ridiculous. I am sitting looking at my laptop and seeing myself, I'm having a conversation for an hour with myself. Narcissism? I don't know. Okay, so I was sitting there and it was so weird because I'm used to doing this. I'm used to talking with people. That is who I am. I need to feel your energy. I need to feel people. And that's the fuel that energizes me when I feel the energy of the room, of the people that I'm dealing with. So then I'm online, I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm a little bit lost how, and then I didn't know how to get the questions, and I was like, but we came about with the online thing, it happened, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I agree with I'm old, forgive me, Glenn. I agree with Glenn, we should continue it. I really believe that we need to continue some sort of, at least something along that line. I've seen a lot of heroes, not recognized, but I've seen a lot of heroes in the last couple of months. I've seen people really come in to their humanity. I think the quiet time gave people pause. It made people realize the insignificance of the societal life that we our socialized understanding of what life is. You get up every morning, you do the same ritual, you go to a job, you come home, you're dead tired, you try to take in a movie, you go to sleep, you get up and do it Groundhog Day. And you realize, but I'm not living, I'm existing. And you don't recognize these things because you have, we can just go to lunch and we have all these people that have the same mindset. But now, I think people was left in isolation for so long that now they're a little bit cautious and they question things, they ask questions more, they question themselves. For a lot of people, it was a time to reflect on self. And it also gave spaces for groups like us, people like us, to learn people in a different way. I realized that for our trans community in particular, Prisma Group has a lot of connection with trans. We're not a trans group, but we have a lot of connection with trans. Because one, we understand transness. I hate the word trans, but we understand transness, so to speak. We don't see trans as me being trans. We see trans as we all being trans at some point. It represents all of us. It's an umbrella. So, but the space, our Prisma Group space, I've realized that we started to get a lot of transgender women in particular reach out to us who was never part of Prisma or anything like that. Some of them totally new to even groups. And it gave me an understanding that a lot of people don't necessarily.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, gave me an understanding that a lot of our community, not just our trans community, but some of our LGBT community also don't, they're not in that space or place that they're comfortable necessarily coming together in groups because they're still struggling with themselves or struggling with their coping mechanisms for group things or whatever, or coming out, but doing online and having a space to talk to someone over a telephone, etc., gave a whole different understanding to them. And it also gave them the ability, with this almost anonymous individual that we're talking to be more open, to be a little freer in terms of saying things, because we don't know a lot of the people that make contact with us. But we got to know them. We really got to know them, as opposed to them coming in an audience and sitting in a group and not really interacting too much, or taking months before they reach that space where they could actually interact. It was really refreshing. So it was, for me, I saw a lot of positive things come out of this period. I saw these frightening things, but I saw a lot of positive things, and I'm really, really grateful that it also made spaces like this for us to get together and do things like what we're doing. So that's also positive out of this so-called darkness. But anyway, let me end here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Let's go to Malak. And can you introduce yourself
Of
there?
course. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you this afternoon. So my name is Mala. I'm artist. I'm also a political activist. I'm Moroccan. I'm gender conforming person. I'm also refugee, and yes, and other things, of course. So how was it for me? First, like, to hear about the world and the virus, etc. And I was in the beginning more interested on what the American propaganda, like the United States propaganda and Chinese propaganda create. So I was like kind of trying to understand what's going on, what's happened, and Wuhan is this like more. It was like about to know what is going on, because on the beginning we doesn't know that we are going to close our doors or anything. So just like having my life normal, and then the lockdown. In the beginning, we are trying to have alternatives, to do some artwork with friends online, to have a party, bring your bottle and sit, open your laptop and have a party. Come on. So it was like this, or like doing sport, or watching 100 documentary and series a day. I mean, just like a lot of series, lots of things. And following my courses, Netherlands courses, on, yeah, it was like normal life. Okay, we are just home, making for me food, etc. Like I'm visiting myself, making plates, you're alone, but you're like, ooh, blah, blah, blah. And then on the second week of this month, it was like Moroccan Instagram influencer. She just asked people to go, like, ask on their live screens every night on the Instagram. She asked cis girls to download the Grindr, the application, and then they can find their brothers, their husbands, you know, it was a way of outing to people. So on one day, the people, they opened Grindr and they found 600 cis girl there looking for their, I don't know what they are looking for. Oh, finally they discover gay people or like trans people. And they just, those people, they took these photos and they put them on the, and they post them on Facebook and Instagram. So all these pictures of these queer people, they are now out on Instagram, and it's kind of big action of outing, like hundreds of young Moroccan and gay Moroccan to be outed. Okay, how is gonna be your feeling there? In the Netherlands, you are not in Morocco.
Yes, how did that affect you?
Yes, because I care about the queer community in Morocco, and I'm Moroccan, and I want to change my country. I want my community to be safe there, and yeah. So it's about because already I was in Morocco. Already I had my brother out to me, and then I know what's effects to be out, and yeah, from my experience, I was kicked to the streets. Is the same thing gonna happen to all these boys there
And some
around
of them
Morocco?
might be worse.
Just on the first day, we are trying to report all the. So like when this starts, I'm just focusing for Corona. I wake up 7 morning, 6 morning. I sleep so late. It's like reporting, and then we heard about the first guy who was suicide because he was outed. What the fuck is going on here? And the community in Morocco, they're afraid. Like, and actually it was in all Morocco. It was the lockdown and the social media, and everybody just talk about, oh look, these cute boys, they are like, oh, these cute boys, never beloved boys, they are super cute, but they are gay or something like this. So it was like boom. So at the beginning, reporting, talking to the comrades, it was not very good communication between the groups on the beginning. It was for me one of the hardest things going, like,
Yes.
what the fuck is ongoing here? And I get messages from people. So on this dramatic situation, I was with some comrades in Morocco, like Moroccan in Morocco and Moroccan in exile, of course. We said the first meeting, what we can do on this case. It's super dramatic, it's super sad. People are killing themselves, dying because they are oppressed. And people, they are kicked out from their house. Where we can find place for these people to get hosted on the lockdown? Who gonna rent for them a house? Like for me, it's also like dealing with my traumas because all these things happen to these people. I am just like reflecting about it.
That it happened to you.
And it happened to me. Like, it was very strong. So we decided to start Queer Revolution Morocco, that we want to change all these fucking negative things.
Queer Revolution
Morocco.
Queer Revolution Morocco.
Yeah, it's just an initiative start to create the light on the community. That they cannot block me now. They cannot block us on this situation. So we want to create something gonna change this feeling of being didn't train, like we didn't train, like loser. We're just gonna sit home and we report. It doesn't work, girls. We have to start something. So we start Queer Revolution Morocco. First, it's to make the community be more creative on showing solidarity. To get the community out from the sadness, from the fear, for like when everyone allowed themselves to be creative and give art as a gift to the community, and like this we want to create this community, like the support, the solidarity going from us. And it's kind of from this beautiful side of of art. So all this, like, I don't see hundreds, but thousands of queers, they were engaged on this. And it wasn't, c'était pas it was not centralized, it was not in Amsterdam. This is the lockdown, we're all on our phones. It's not in Amsterdam, it's not in New York, it's not anywhere, but in Morocco, by Moroccans, for Moroccans, and everyone can start the initiative and share their art and share it. There is no specific like group or something, like just create this energy of, yes, we are doing revolution. This is the time for it. Who gonna do it? It's free. It's like from this position of being, fuck, I get out it, blah, blah, blah. We start revolution and also we start collectives, how to help
Can I
these
ask you
people.
something?
Yes.
I get a quivers from what you're saying because I understand that people try to put their attention on outing people.
Yes.
Because there was something wrong with all these people in this COVID time,
Yeah.
and they were looking to release their tension. And then suddenly I understand
Stop
that,
this attention to our revolution.
and then you change that into
Yeah.
your revolution.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now. And that makes you so excited now.
Yeah,
Yes,
of
of course, because it was
Okay.
like very great.
It's what I just talked about. You create your narrative, and that's what you did.
Yeah, and this
I'm
was
very
great.
proud of
Thank
you.
Maybe I was so proud of myself and all
Yeah.
the comments there. And also we tried to create like ways of solidarity. We collect money. We look for people who don't have to rent. It was like, it's such, not our problem is only outing, but also the people like sex workers, trans sex workers who cannot pay their rent. We collect money for them and we send to Morocco to help this lot of trans lesbians, especially these things. And what was the point? That is, it's need to get out from this negativity because the influencer person, she was trans woman who out all of them. She don't live in Morocco, so the girl, she just like sacrifice of our blood for more likes and more followers. I don't know her real things. Anyway, so like debate, it was about transphobia and the gay people.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
trans people, they are la 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 la. Look, she's trans and she's doing this. So if you doesn't control, I'm sorry for saying this word, if you doesn't control how it's going, the movement, you're lost in the beginning. So it's about to, when we started for the first time, this is what the point, the transphobia, the solidarity of the community, like a lot of negativity. So it was the first thing, like how we can make our voices together and do something together better than every group and everyone. Yeah, so it was like this. So it was like 2 months of Moroccan queer revolution. It was the beginning because I think next year and it's continue. It's about la literature. It's about art. It's about writing. It's about poetry. It's about etc.
Mara, you're
Yeah, sorry, I talked
No.
about it. Yeah, anyway, but this was my lockdown. Sorry.
it's amazing. I also know you are an amazing soul. So thanks for all of that. I want to make it a bit smaller.
Yeah.
I want to go there when you introduce yourself, and I know you are very confident, and of course all of us have also challenges. But when you introduce yourself and you said the word refugee, I did see something happening. Can you tell me about that? What is that? What is that? What happened with you when you introduce yourself and you say the word refugee?
Yes. Actually, for this 3 months, I had some hard time on the end of like when we finished the campaign, etc. So I just had to live loneliness and to live alone, blah blah blah. And I was with some friends. She's trans friend of me in Munich. So we had long conversations. Confidence. About self-love, about accepting our reality, about accepting our situations. And on this moment, we talk about being refugee. And being refugee, it's social situation, c'est une situation de classe, it's classist position, one. In the Netherlands and all Europe, when you say refugee, people, they're gonna talk to you really, really different. They're gonna treat you so bad. They're gonna ask you if you are homeless. They doesn't treat you as a human, if I can say this. It's a mix of racism and supremacy. It's not only white supremacy, but supremacy of being citizen or something like this. You have some papers, motherfucker, and you're gonna make my day problem. With the friend, we talk about this. We talk also about artists and refugees. We talk about the opportunities we get, about how many times we work, who hear us, why we don't say this word refugee always and be looking at our reality that we are motherfuckers refugees, and it cannot be something else. And while we're talking to my friend, when you say refugee to yourself and you feel, because before I was hating to say refugee, is not hating, but like shameless or something.
Yeah.
You know? With all the things happening about refugees. Like myself, before I come to the Netherlands, I was imagining if I'm refugees, you can imagine what's going in my mind. It's just, yeah, anyway. So I want to take sometimes some moments for seeing refugee, to feel it, to be facing my reality as refugee. And I am refugee.
To use it as a tool of empowerment.
Yes.
As opposed to disempowerment.
Of course, because if it doesn't accept yourself and your reality as refugee going there, you cannot get confidence enough. You know? This is refugees. I get this. I am on this position. I need this. I want this. I can do this. It's not gonna come from.
I totally understand the experience.
So, and from that moment, I am trying to reflect about this word refugee. First, a relation with my. I will finish. I know I want just to connect the lockdown with yours in this. So I had a lot of time with myself. I had a lot of days with myself. I have a lot of months with myself, and also reflection, because when you're all the day on your home, you're cleaning your place, you're bringing like giving food to your animals or something like that. Cooking for yourself. It's like it's going like long conversations. This kind of talk like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you know. And also like to be looking to me, and it was not always very, very great, because I also had some suicide experiences. Alhamdulillah, I am sitting here, I'm surviving now, and this is also was one of things that makes me you know, like when you are walk on this glass and you're moving on the city, you're going home, and you're with this loneliness, it makes you think again and again about some things. It was for you, Musallamat. The things you was like sure about it. some concepts, your body, your everything, how you get to it. Like these things, it just like was the moment to reflect about it, and to build some power that the corona takes from me, not to the corona, but all the stress going with doing activism, all the stress of give a lot of time to Morocco and the struggle in Morocco. My comrades, they went to jail because they are journalists, like a lot of things going on. Like also it needs some back to self, talk to self, say how we can continue with less effects, the bad effects done. I don't know if it's the bad effect, but like negative effects can come, like how you can deal with it yourself. Voilà. Donc I am just now trying to get more strong and keep shining. Thank you.
So thanks a lot. I was thinking also about something else. Is it also that we miss the countries where we come from?
Yeah.
And I mean come from, like I'm the second generation and we have all different kind of backgrounds. So is that also with you? Did you miss Morocco or the others also? Can you answer this question? So yeah, we can start with Mala and then...
Okay. Is there limited time or we can just keep going? Like?
We still have some time, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, I miss Morocco. I am 4 years now in exile. But the missing, every day, one day of my life in exile, the missing is start to be different. When I was just come here, like most of the things I miss is my friends. It's the everyday connection. It's the sacred gatherings. I mean, like where queer people meet. I meet the queer community there. I miss my friend. I miss going to the parties there. Everything, it was on my everyday, because when you move, when you're out of your place, how you can deal. Yeah. So Morocco in the beginning, it was everything about Morocco. But now the missing of Morocco is the missing of the change in Morocco. It's the missing of
this change that you feel that you could
I need
influence.
the country to get changed so I can be safe there. And I left the country because it was a lot of horrible things going on. And I want to... The missing is the missing of Moroccan get changed. The justice going on in Morocco. That's Moroccan for Moroccans. That's Moroccans, they can stay on their countries. The Morocco, they can eat their land food and their size fishes. You know what I mean? So like the missing of Morocco now, it's linked of how we can make change there. And what's Morocco I dream of, it's the day I am waiting for and missing, because also the Morocco is stolen from us as Moroccans. Anyway, but yes, I miss it. I wish one day I will be back there. I don't know. I wish if I could you open the borders for me, but the Morocco is living inside of me. It's something more. It's part of me. It's me, you know. So about the beginning, it was the crying, you know. But now, come on, talk to the comrades in Morocco and make it get on progress, make things going on. I start to understand that to change Morocco is not necessary to be in Morocco, because your voice is gonna get heard, your strategy is gonna get heard. You have your comrades there, you fight here, they fight there, and the fight's gonna continue. Voilà. It's, if I start to continue, I just would like to say poems about Morocco, so I will stop here.
Okay.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Yes. Glenn,
But I'm always impressed with you.
Thank you.
Actually, the same question for Glenn. Do you miss your other countries?
You know, trying to say that now is for me quite impossible after listening to you. Because I hear you say that being in the situation of being a refugee, you're saying first the word refugee was something that tried to diminish me. And now I'm using it to become somebody who's standing there, you're identifying with that word, and you're saying, this is what I need in this country, and I want my rights. I understand that you fled from Morocco because you were gay.
I'm queer.
Queer. So tell me what queer is.
It's me.
Okay. Because you were queer.
That's the perfect answer.
Because you were queer, because you were you, that's why you fled. And now in this situation of being a refugee and also being queer, going away from your country, you found this power in yourself to become a person who says, I'm here, and I don't need to be there to have my influence. And you did a great job in that, I understand. And at the same time, as I understood, you were telling about your challenges these last months, in which I hear you also went very deep. Did I hear that you said you even got at that place where you got suicidal?
Yes.
Yes, okay, but I heard that. So it meant that you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting here trying to tell us what you've been through. And that's why I cannot easily start talking about myself. Because while you're talking about so many emotions I feel. And first I want to reflect on all those emotions. Because if you say I'm Moroccan, I want to say I'm Moroccan too. We're all Moroccan.
Yes.
Because we recognize yes, we recognize in what you've been through in several ways. But now we call it Moroccan. And in another way I could say for the gay community, Morocco was very important. If you look at the history of Morocco, I remember as a younger guy, I was looking at all those people who were in their poems and everything going to Morocco to be free in their homosexuality. Or in Casablanca, where all these operations trans
operations.
You know? So
I am from Casablanca, by the way.
You're from Casablanca. So also in the queer history, it's a very important place. And so your story has to reflect. It has to reflect in our communities. And it was, your country in itself was very empowering. And then, because those are the individuals in the country, and then we see the government, then we see the politicians. And as we sit here, it's always about people trying to be themselves. And then you have this political situation in which politicians, who are also burgers, who are also citizens, are trying to impose their ideas on people. But then we see the strongness. You're an example of the inner strength.
Thank you.
Yes, you are. Because one of the things for ages we see that I just said we all have our ancestors. And we all have our ancestors, we can name them. You know, one ancestor of me, for instance, is James Baldwin, you know. And we all have them. And they're also our ancestors. But we know that the strength to survive is there. And I'm impressed by the strength you show us now of how you survived. So I really hope that, I really hope that you will be successful in what you do. And I pray for our ancestors to give you all the blessings.
I mean.
Yes. And then for myself, yes, I'm a Dutch man. You know, in this if we talk about my beginnings, you know, the only thing that comes into my mind now is that I was very happy that Black Lives Matter was going on in this same period, you know, because my whole life I've been busy with this question. The first things in my youth that came from outside was Black is beautiful. I had this fight with myself of how I looked, because the norm was something else. You know, everything on me was not the norm. So with this Black Lives Matter, I feel that it's not only the place where I come from, Curaçao, that's playing now, but I come from a lot of places, and I see the body I have now is being reflected, the way that we're emancipating, because the 60s were very important in emancipation. And on that little island of Curaçao, I had this emancipation for myself. And I can talk a lot about it, but I'll keep it there now, because now I see this movement in this world again. And people think that when we say Black Lives Matter, that we are talking about black people. No, we're trying to humanize the world.
Yeah.
Can't people understand that in that fight we're trying to humanize?
Yes.
You know, and that's for me so important for people to understand that all these categories in which we put people, that it's craziness. I can even get emotional of understanding how people are trying every time to diminish the others. And the people who are diminishing don't even know that they're diminishing themselves. So for me, where I come from, I say Black Lives Matter is a gift to this world, to humanize. That's for me the important thing at this moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump the line because I want to add to what Glenn is saying. I want to add to it simply because I want to show the connections, the intersectionalities in a lot of the things that we all discuss here. When I started to talk, I talked about being trans or being different, being people, because we're all different. That's the first thing we have to understand. We're all different, but we're more alike than we're not. The individuality, the differences in us is what makes us unique and special and beautiful. That's what's beautiful about us. Not only similarities, but what's different about us. But the situations are always the same. We're always made to be dehumanized, to feel belittled, devalued for our differences, be it racism or racial makeup, be it a cultural thing, be it our identities that we gender or whatever identity we choose to advertise. Its color, it's used to belittle us. It's our gender identity used to belittle us. It's our status as fluctuating refugees. It's used to do those things. We always, and we are all guilty of it because we use those things also to define people. And it makes us so little. It takes away from the abundance of who we are. The essence of humanity. It's such a powerful thing. And we bring ourselves to black, white, brown, Moroccan, Trinidadian. We bring ourselves down to these little things: trans, hetero, cis, all these labels, all these things that we hold so dear, that we kill for, that we destroy for. We destroy people for those labels. Those labels are so destructive. And the thing about it, the labels themselves aren't destructive. It's the idea behind the labels. It's that need, because of our insecurities for ownership, that we want to own something and we want to hold fast to it so much that we don't leave room for fluidity. And the important thing to understand in life is everything is fluid. That's the basis of life. Fluidity. We are entities of growth and evolution. We evolve, we change. We start out an idea, a seed, an egg, and we grow. And that's everything around us. It's the energy, it's all of it. It's all about fluidity. But we forget that. And we try to put everything in these spaces, and we cement them in these spaces, and that's dangerous. Because if things don't evolve, if things don't grow, if water remains stagnant, it becomes poisonous. It becomes poisonous. It's no use, it's no good, it's dangerous. So we need to allow it to flow, to change, to grow into other things. And just like we need water in order for it to be healthy, to flow, we need to flow to be healthy. We need to keep a healthy balance. We need to allow ourselves to naturally flow, not try to dictate where we flow, because that limits us, that holds us stagnant, it poisons us. And that's problematic, and that's one of the reasons that we have so many issues, we have so many problems, because of these labels and these spaces that we want to make permanent. I say, okay, labels are sometimes necessary for you to understand things. It's again an arrogant thing with us, so we need to believe that we need to understand everything. We can't just let it be. But okay, but maybe we don't put it in a box, maybe we put it in a U. So we leave at least a space for growth, a space for something to change, for something to go in, for something to come out, for growth. But we try to put things in these boxes, and life doesn't fit in boxes. So it's stifling, and then it just explodes. And then it's a mess. It's a total fucking mess. And so when I listen to everybody's story, sometimes we miss those intersectional things, that all these things that we use to disempower us are also things that could be used to empower us. They're also tools to empower us, because you know what they are? They are experiences. They are parts of who we are that makes us unique and beautiful. All our experiences makes us so big. Like, I feel I am so wealthy. I feel so rich because I have so many experiences. And some people would hear my experiences and think, oh, they're terrible. Oh my God, that was horrible. That happened? I don't see it that way anymore. At that time, it might have felt horrible, but now those experiences fuel their energy, their fire, their lessons that I've learned. And sometimes we fail to realize that our experiences are so important only if we learn the lessons. If we don't learn the lessons, if we don't see our experiences as a growing curve, as an experience, something to learn the lesson, because everything has a lesson in it. If we don't learn the lesson, then we've wasted a period of our energy. We've wasted it. And we're gonna repeat it again, and we don't see it, and then we can't relate to other people's energies. Mala, listen, you have no idea how inspirational you are. I don't listen to a lot of people. A lot of people don't move me when they talk. Sometimes I don't even understand what the fuck you're saying. But there's an energy about you that's powerful. A powerful energy about you that when you talk, I listen to you, I get lost in it. And you're emotional with it. I feel your energy. It's sexy, it's beautiful, it's strength, it's powerful. So you always impress me. We fight a lot, and I even love that about it.
I love you.
Yeah. So it's true. When I listen to your story, when I listen to you talk, always I feel your power. I feel your strength, and I want you to understand. I know you don't always see how powerful you are, but you are so powerful.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bye-bye. Thank you, really. So cute.
But back to my thing, if I miss Trinidad, I don't miss Trinidad. I don't miss anywhere. Wherever I am is home. I don't feel any sense of, for me, I just think that it's all this false sense of nationalism and this false sense of identity. For me, not making anybody else's experiences thing, but for me, Trinidad is a beautiful land. It was one of the most progressive lands in the Caribbean, blah, 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 beautiful. But I left it and I came here. You know, and I'm also a refugee. I also came through that system, but I use my experiences to empower me. So with refugee status, when I came, was the same thing. There was about 4 other Trinidadians. Here we were the first 4 that came. You couldn't say asylum or refugee. They would get angry. I remember being on a train once and we were talking about it was crazy. It was almost violent how they wanted to avoid us having that. The camp, what camp are you talking about? You know, what camp are you talking about? So I know a lot of people who say, yeah, I'm studying here. I came here on a scholarship. And you came to the fucking camp. I don't understand it. So, but those things are so used to disempower us, and I find it super empowering. The queen of this country was a refugee.
Refugee in the UK, right?
So like, a refugee doesn't
but
make
different conditions.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Refugee's refugee. Why we want to do, you know? But anyway, my
I've never
thing.
been in the agency.
But my thing is that I don't see. I try not to use those things. I don't see anything. I've always been a rebellious person, and if you say this is the way it is, I'm going to argue it's not that way. Sometimes even if I do believe you, but I need to argue it, because if I can poke holes in the argument, then maybe there's something to look at.
Yeah.
So I'm always devil's advocate in that sense. But Trinidad, I don't miss it. I chose here as home. This is home. I was back in Trinidad last year. And it hasn't really changed much. It's beautiful. But yeah, this is home. And if I move, wherever I go to, that's home for me. Because I consider myself sort of a world person. Like, I really don't care. And I don't care what you think. I came here and this is your land. I say, fuck you. I claim it. I have the right because I am of this earth. So I don't care. I'm energy. And because I'm energy, my energy is everywhere. So I don't hold any particular loyalty to anything, place, person, whatever. I think I'm fluid, I'm energy, and I'm a god. And if you don't want to claim your godhood, that's your problem, but I'll claim mine. So that's me.
Yes, I can say something about the program, because it felt, when we were speaking an hour, it felt like 5 minutes. So I think we will just do this half an hour more, and then we will invite Andrea to do a program at Prisma soon.
Yes,
So because I can now also give the mic to you and you can do it, but I don't
Yes.
feel it's the right thing to do. So then I decided to do it like this.
I feel it also. That's how the
Yeah.
energy goes, how the
Yeah.
flow goes.
That's-
Please, let's continue that way.
So
Yes, very.
So yes, Andrea, do you miss something or not, or yes?
I very much recognize what Ashley is saying about. I'm born in Switzerland. I'm born in Zurich, and my mom is from Germany, and my father from South India. So that's where I'm born, and it's. There's also the limitation, the reduction immediately, right? You know, that's. I have to present that, or I'm this, or I'm that, and I grow into actually what I love. I'm connected to energies and qualities of life, and I really appreciate to live in the Amsterdam area, where there is freedom, where there is a LGBTQ community of color. I feel at home in New York City. I love New York City. I also like Berlin. You know, I'm really an urban person. I love the big cities because there we have the representation from all people. You know, And that's where I feel home. And beside that, and that sometimes is confusing for me, I feel home also in nature, because I love to bike and feel the wind on my skin, and then the rain and the sun. And I thought, what makes me so happy? Because I bike a lot, I hike a lot, and I dance a lot, and I swim. And that's my home. And I thought, why does it make me so happy? Because these are the elements, and I'm a part of these elements. And then I feel this oneness. So I recognize what here, I feel that. I feel also, when you talk about Morocco, what you went through, I feel the suffering. So, and that's a part, you're a part of me at that moment, and I'm a part of you, because we can connect to it. So I'm not attached to a place, I'm attached to my heart, and yes.
To the energies.
To the energies, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah. Also for the viewers at home, it's really amazing to sit with such an amazing company with such amazing energy souls. Because of course here you also feel the energy, and I hope you at home also feel it.
Can I add something? I need to say,
there.
because beside a dancer, swimmer, biker, hiker, I'm also a foodie, and home is for me also in food. So when I can eat, I had recently that amazing paneer tikka masala with a chai. I'm totally happy.
Then you have to become friends with our friends.
Oh yeah, Indian food.
Indian, Pakistani, it's also all the same. So
I love.
they cook really good.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really, that's what I miss sometimes. I really feel after a while, I said, oh, I haven't eaten a curry. I need curry. I need naan. I need Indian food.
Yes.
That's
you know
also.
what's sad about this? This is what's sad about this. What's happening right now is that it just doesn't happen enough. That spaces like this isn't created enough. We don't create it, or others don't create it enough. We do it once a year. It's a pride thing, so we remember. Oh yes, we have Glenn, we have Ishtan, we have Ashley, we have Mala. Oh yes, we can. Once a year, these spaces are created where we can do something like this. That is live, that is open. You know what I mean?
No, dear, you are doing it every 3 weeks.
No,
I'm joking.
like sitting and doing this. Yesterday with that program as well. It's televised. It's those are the spaces that the queer community needs regularly. It needs to become.
I totally agree.
It needs to become a normalized thing. It needs to become just like you put on the television, you watch Sesame Street, or you watch your soap operas. We need to be represented.
Ashley, may I interrupt you?
Yeah.
You know what you're saying now? This subtly strikes me, because if we look at our TV, that is programming now, and it's great that it's there, but in these programs of our TV, I don't see our kind of people.
No.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying now is very important for the people of our TV to understand that not only with pride, as Ashley is saying, but the whole year.
Yeah.
We should be represented on our TV.
And we're not.
So, because this is beautiful, because this is the other sound, the sound we also need to hear. And I think that what you were saying just now, I know that you are doing your work.
Yeah.
But we know we have to spread this thinking.
We do this every day with Prisma Group. Every week we do it. We all do it individually in these small, saturated spaces, but we're not given equity. It's not equitable. I'm not asking for it to be equal, but I would like it to be equitable. I would like to have spaces that is created for us to share, to do these things, to have more conversations like these, continuity,
Telling
a lot
our
of-
stories.
Yes, tell our stories.
Sharing stories.
A lot of times I am not really concerned or care for too much to do these things, simply because I feel, yeah, oh my God, it's because it's Pride, so we're gonna do this shit now. But there's no continuity because I get all
Yes.
excited and my activism fire starts igniting again, and I feel a little heat in my boomsy, you know. And then it's done, and I'm like, okay, next year then.
It's really, really great because we always see these talk shows on television, but what we're doing now is also very important because when people meet,
Yeah.
they're also supposed to eat.
But
And
you,
that's part of being together.
agreed. But
Being
you know,
together also means we're talking, but it's also important for us to eat because if we're talking about taking care of ourselves, it's the words we're saying. We have to eat. I really got hungry when you were talking about the paneer.
Yes.
You know? And if we talk about healing ourselves, it's
Yes.
also about indeed putting our body into nature.
of course.
And it's healing ourselves is indeed connecting and as Ashley just said, it's connecting what you said. And Ashley said something.
The intersectionality with
Yes.
all our stories.
Yes.
We need it's all about how do we create spaces where we can be ourselves. So we're going to do something. We're going to take a bite, but we'll not, I at least will not talk at the same time, but I will take a bite. Is that okay, Ishet?
It's
I'm
always
always
okay with you, Glenn.
That's okay.
Yeah, you know, I see you you are a very amazing soul also. So, so actually I wanted to go to the audience. So of course take a bite, be relaxed. I think there are some questions. Now people are getting shy. Otherwise they talk a lot. So,
I mean, well, the 40 people are sitting down
Let them
here.
put it back.
so the big audience, do you have questions? Maybe Sad, Jermaine, Khalid, or all the others in the audience?
All the 40 people here. That's 1.5 meters. No, ask questions. I can multitask.
I have answers for everything. I have the questions.
I go from with you to the mic and I can walk my views.
Thank you. As I'm looking at the panel, I am seeing lovely elders, beautiful elders. I come from Zimbabwe.
We can take it.
I'm always worried about the disconnection between young people and the elders. So you as the elders in this panel, and I love the way you lifted up Hamza as he was talking. So how do we as young people rise up to the occasion, or how do you as elders reach us out like that? How do you find us? How do you spot us if we are in vulnerable situations to say, okay, I see you are having a little trouble here, let me pull you up. How do you as elders do that for us? Because that is happening to millions of us all over the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a really good question. It's actually not very easily answered. I know Mala actually from Prisma Group. That's the first place I met you, yes, some time ago. And at the time, I was just a guest speaker at Prisma. But we kind of followed each other along the way because I used to do testing and all the different LGBT events. So we kind of followed each other. We kept meeting each other along the way there, and I kept the energy connects, and that's what I have with Mala. But what you're asking on the broader level, that is something that I could only offer to people who are interested. There's a disconnect, and there's a disconnect simply because we call ourselves community, but we're not a community. There's a disconnect because we are fighting for spaces like this.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect because we don't know our history, because we don't know and we cannot appreciate the history of our people. If you don't know your history, you don't have the respect for it. A lot of our people, a lot of our young queer people coming to spaces that are already there. It's not a lot, but to them it's a lot. For us who came from spaces when they didn't have spaces, for us, some of us who had to create spaces, for us who knew the challenges of being in a space that not only didn't recognize us, but demonized us and was deadly to be in those spaces. And we had to create spaces. So we could appreciate the history. We could think of the ones who fought and died alongside of us or before us, because we know the fight. But a lot of the younger generations, they have a different fight. They come into spaces that were already there, and they're now, there's some of the younger generation, like Mala, who's fighting to expand those spaces and to make it wider. But a lot of our young people, they just don't know their history. And when it comes to older members of the community, they have absolutely no respect for those older members, because they think, oh, you're just another queer person. You're just looking for fucking or something like that. They don't understand the space, the sacrifices some of us has made to create spaces. And by interacting with us, you can learn. You can learn to now further develop that space. You can learn to create other spaces because our community is becoming more and more diverse. It's really ignorant that I just said that our community is becoming more and more diverse, because our community is fucking diverse. That is what I talked about, fluidity. But for the sake of all the people who want to think in those boxes, so there's we as older, or I'm not old, but for Glenn and me, Andrea and Glenn, for us who have been around for a while and have a certain amount of experience and a certain amount of information, we can only offer that to people who choose to access it, who choose to see it and access it. I have a lot of information, and I am someone who gives all of me to the people who come to me for it. But I am not the Messiah, so I don't go around looking for people walking on the street. However, look, an example is coming from my country. None of the people, or very few of the people from my country, would come and attend things like this, or even look to get guidance even from me, because she's just an old tranny from Trinidad. Do you understand? It's hard for them to appreciate, because in some way appreciating the older one diminishes their, I don't know, popularity or whatever. And so that there's that challenge. But this is not this is not about bashing young ones. This is about recognizing that there's a disconnect with the education of our communities in community building. There's a disconnect in history, understanding what the history is, what our history, especially as bicultural queer people, because the white cis queer community, listen, white privilege is a real thing. So that community, they not that they don't have their struggles. It's not that they don't have their struggles. It's a different struggle. It's a different challenge. But they always create spaces, and they've been doing it for a long time. We're always the disadvantaged, disenfranchised, the one that's begging for a handout or whatever. So we don't document our history properly. We don't tell our stories enough. We don't have these spaces like this to sit to tell our stories, who we are, what we've done. Introduction of myself. I ask people this all the time. Tell me about you. Who are you? Nobody knows how to answer that question. People sit and look at you. Well, yeah, my name is, and I am doctor, lawyer, farmer, whatever. I do this. But is that who you are? So a lot of times when I'm having that conversation with people, I say, okay, so look at it this way. Market yourself to me, sell yourself to make me interested in buying you as a product. Make me interested in you as a product. Tell me the good things about you, who you are, because a lot of us don't know how to really introduce ourselves because we don't fucking know self. We don't know who we are. A lot of us. So it's not easy for us to introduce ourselves. Again, a lot of that comes because we don't have these spaces to actually listen and learn how, and who we are, where we came from, and what were some of the challenges that the ones came before us had. And I have stories from people before me, you know. And the world is becoming smaller because of the internet, I think. But I remember when I first came out, when I first came on the scene, there was the older heads, and there was always a story time. They love telling stories, and we get together, and I was always so curious about the stories because I believe in human anthropology. I believe in understanding people and learning. I want to understand. I have dyslexia, and for me to understand things, I need to get all the very little bits. I need to break it down, and I need to see how everything fit into each other for me to understand it. So that makes me understand things better. So when I need to understand something, I need details. I need to know how every little bit works. And so again, dyslexia is seen by some people as a disadvantage. I think it's a God maker. You know, I think it's an advantage. So it's all the language we use is what disempowers us really. So back to your question, because I kind of strayed a little bit. It's important for us to have spaces like this so we can reach more people, younger people who want to contribute, who want to learn, who want to grow, that they can know who we are. They can have access to us and our archives. And we are not the only ones. There are so many people who have so much to offer in our community. We are, listen, challenges are just another word for growth, for evolution. And our community knows fucking challenges. Our community knows challenges. And because we know challenges so well, they're so grown. There's so much evolution that takes place. When you are 20 as a queer person, you already live the life of a 50-year-old, 40-year-old heterosexual individual. Sorry, I spit in here. So, at the end of the day, I mean, we have so much information, we have so much knowledge, so much that we could offer, but we don't have these spaces. So we need to have spaces. We need to find the people to create these spaces, because I don't create spaces. I don't like work. I like passion.
I just want to add something about the question of the age. When I was super young or super kid, I was to be older because there is this separation between old people and young people. I think it's over the world. And this relation of, let me say, sometimes domination of generations. When I was too young, like anyone, when we was children in Morocco, anyone who's older than you, it's huge. It's like someone gonna tell you what to do, gonna beat you, and also he's the imam who telling you the beautiful stories and the religious stories, your grandma, etc. So I was always feeling that there is space between me as younger and people older than me.
Again, youth was used to diminish who you were.
Yeah, and like always, I doesn't have the chance to talk face to face with equality to this person. So in 18 years, like also on the queer community, we meet a lot of old great people, and the first time I start to have old friends. So it's different. It's respect, it's giving you knowledge, it's listening to you, it's talking to you. So they're like, you're gonna meet your gay mother on this, when you're just on the street with gay mothers, take care of us, and they're older, etc. So like for me, really like the old generation, it's need to do some effort for us. To share with us their experiences, to talk to us and to listen to us and consider what we are saying as something serious and also intelligent. When I start to have older than me friends or conversations like this, I don't feel something very I'm not afraid for anything. My father is home, right? Or feel like also give some confidence that yes, I'm talking to these people, and also because all the things put it on our minds that don't talk with others about this. Don't say I talk about my experience. I don't know others. It's also just doesn't talk. I don't know. We don't do a lot of effort to talk about normal things. And this is such also for my family. For my family, it was a long separation, and my father and my mother, they're also old people. But I decided to stop treat them as old people as I was always doing. That I have just to listen to them and do what they want and hide everything. I am talking to them as people like me. They have different experience, maybe it's age. But I decided to the treatment to my family, it's normal treatment as everyone. I'm not going to hide anything from them. I'm not going to tell them something extra I don't tell to other people. And this is kind of bring peace, because you can be fairly express yourself and get informations and get feedbacks, but on position when you feel that you are respected on this conversation or on this talk, on this, because there is no family control, and there is no sorry for saying this word,
the hierarchical thing.
Hierarchical ages thing. Yeah, voilà. And this big struggle on our community, because we need this connection between different generations. If we see in the Netherlands, the struggle Black and POC queer organizations start, it's very huge, it's very big history, it's very beautiful. and to continue together, because we are not, it's not my generation's struggle, it's all of us, all this generation's struggles. To go forward, for both the Netherlands, we need to back to the connection with the other struggles so we can continue together what they start.
Yes. Thank you, Mala.
Yeah,
and
sorry.
Ashley, sorry, I have to stop you because we only have 4 minutes left.
Okay.
So, yes, it's
1,
almost
2,
2
3,
o'clock. So yes, let's go to Glenn. Do you want to say some last words, remarks about what do you want to give our audience? Because it's open for everybody. So, yes.
Well, my last words are, I'm happy that you asked that, because I see that in every struggle, every challenge, as you say, there is growing. If we're seeing that Kick Out Zwarte Piet, for instance, or Nederland wordt beter, we see that these people were busy with their struggle to get racism out of the country. But I've seen in that struggle how those groups also were growing. And I see, for instance, now that first there were words like, you are black first and then you're queer. And I saw words that also in the minds of ourselves, we were busy dividing. And now I see much more that people are coming to their core. And for instance, I see that the people around that group, they're embracing our intersectionality. I'm so happy with the group that also came forth out of that, the black queer and trans resistance. Yeah. And the important thing is...
The black pride.
The black pride.
Yeah.
And the important thing is that I see that one of the things they are realizing and are saying is that they stand on the shoulders of the people who were before them. And some of those people are still here. I'm here. Other older people are here. So I'm seeing in this growing of we try to make the Netherlands better, I also see that people are very busy to connect. And your question of how do we connect is that this is a realization that we need each other. I need you, because your thoughts are very important for me, and when we interact all the time we create, and we want to know together that we are creating. So today I've met you for the first time, and I already have you on Facebook, yes? And what we want is, I want to know, as this man, this wise man from India, who nowadays we say he is also racist in his connotations, that is Gandhi. But Gandhi also said he needed young people around him to hold him, the mind, fresh. So we hold each other to create and keep on creating. And one of the things that Ashley said is very important, and that is, not only we have to create these spaces, but we have to know in this country, we have to know in the policies that it's not the individuality. We have a village, and we say that we raise our child in those villages together. But now I say we have to raise that village. We have to know that we have also, and it's also a thing about money, in the policies it's also important that we are being supported to...
Equitably.
Yes, to help all our kids wherever they come from. And I say the whole spectrum, because of course we're talking about bicultural, but we know that we need the space for the whole spectrum. And if we want to create a society in which we really use all our talents, I think that policies have to invest in that, because we're not black, we're not gay or queer. No, we are human beings with our talents, and we can add everything to our talents, to ourselves, to the other, and to the community.
Andrea, last words for you also?
Yes. Wow, last words. So,
Yes, it's like we always say this, last words.
many years, just listening to you all, I try to express something. Many years ago, as a gay woman of color in Amsterdam, I felt very isolated, I felt alone. And then I walked in, at that time it was at COC, and I met Strange Fruit. And I met a group of Strange Fruit. I met Marlon, Rohit, Cedric, Anne Krul, and Soek, and you know. And I didn't know at that time I was helping, also contributing to create history. I didn't know that. And it was so funny these days on Facebook. I saw the T-shirt from Ishet with the Strange Fruit logo.
Yeah.
And I still remember like it was yesterday that it was in the Haarlemmerstraat. I was busy with the logo of Strange Fruit, with the pineapple. So, and while I was doing that, I didn't realize. Now, many years later, I see, wow, that was one of the first queer LGBTQ of color group in the world. And I was also like Black Orchid, we created a black woman group. So, but I didn't realize at that time, I was looking actually for myself. I tried to understand myself, because there where I came from, I didn't exist. So I had to create myself. I had to find existence. And then it goes and goes. And I think the important thing is that what I would like to have last words is what I see when I look at our community, how much we grow, how much we empowered, how much, when I feel the talks we have now, I'm excited about what is coming from you and from all of you. We need each other, and we are helping each other to grow bigger. And I think the most important, the next step really need to do is to connect more and to hold each other in our vulnerability and in our strength and in our beauty.
Whoa.
We are gods, as actually said.
Yeah.
Gods and goddesses.
We need to support. We really need to support each other.
Yes, we need to support each other. We need to reach out. And we do not, and there we have to do, I think sometimes it's hard to do the step, to reach out, and you think you're alone in this world with this judgment you have towards yourself, because the world judges you, so you internalize the judgment. We need to heal. We are healing ourselves by reaching out, by meeting, by meeting all the amazing souls.
And a hero doesn't have to be someone who puts on a mask, or, a hero doesn't have to be intentional. You don't have to try to be a hero to be a hero.
No.
Heroes are born out of necessity. Heroes are people who do simple things for simple reasons and make big differences. A lot of us didn't plan to be, Stonewall wasn't a plan. None of the things that most of us did was a plan. Strange Fruit logo wasn't a plan. It was, I need to do this, let's arrange, let's do these things. And how many years later, now it's a part of the history.
Yes.
And it's a part of world history, not just history, but world queer history now. So, being a hero is just about trying to do the right thing. Not all, whatever the right thing is, because it's all relative, but trying to make a positive difference. Trying to make a difference. That makes heroes.
Mana, you want to say?
Yes, thank you so much. So because I have to perform also to this evening. Anyway, I like also going to performance gives me a hope on the future. When I heard you talking about the T-shirt, I'm just really like go on some imaginations about the future, which will be great. Already a lot of things have done by a lot of people. The struggle of our communities in the Netherlands, it's very strong. We can see every day there is new beautiful things going on, new movements, that's perfection of organizing things. A lot of new books. People are like busy about the change. Just like keep busy and keep caring. And this kind of talks or other talks I will finish right now. This kind of talks or any meetings can meet together. It's wish us, it's make us stronger. And because the future, we have all one future going on through. Voilà.
Yep.
Thank you.
Voilà.
Yes.
Thank you.
Voilà.
So thanks again, all the panel members. It was really lovely, amazing. Thanks also the audience here. Thank for the good questions. And all the viewers at home, I would say don't underestimate your power. You can do everything what you want. Just believe in yourself. And also reach out to these amazing people. They are also here to help you, to help us. And have a good day. Enjoy Pride. And see you soon. Bye-bye.